welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something I discovered a couple of weeks ago called Studyblr. Studyblr is a hashtag that has kind of picked up popularity recently. Studyblr is kind of like a community that forms notes in a more methodical, precise, artistic way. So why would you want your notes to be more artistic is one of my first questions when I discovered this community. Why are these people taking so much time to make their notes when they're in class or when they're studying? Well, if you've ever taken notes, and if you're in college or if you're in high school, you'll know that when you take your notes, that you're just trying to get whatever your professor is saying down on paper. You don't care what he's saying, you're just trying to get it down on paper, you're trying to get it done. And there's nothing methodical about that. There's nothing that is really helpful in doing that, because basically all you're doing is you're writing down what he's saying or she is saying, and it's not really productive. And it's not really methodical, and you're going to be searching for stuff through your scrambled handwriting. So when you make your notes more artistic and you take the time and effort and put your dedication into your notes, they become more organized and structured, and they carry more meaning, and they're kind of more organized in your own words. And that's the difference between looking something up in a textbook and looking at your notes. When you're making your notes, you're writing something in your own words that you personally understand better than a textbook. Your language is your language, and the way you write is the way you write. And that is the beautiful thing about note-taking, is that it allows you to take the information that you need to learn and put it in your own format. So what is Studyblr? Studyblr is the kind of the way that you make your notes pretty, but it's also about structure and making things more methodical in the way that you write. So this is my notes 4 weeks ago, prior to discovering Studyblr. And as you can see, they are very much sloppy. They lack a lot of, I'm just trying to get whatever my professor is saying down onto this paper. Now, 3 weeks, just 3 or 4 weeks after Studyblr, this is what my notes look like now. You see that? A lot more organized. Fancy even. Yeah. And that wasn't easy to do. In this way I wrote this, I have my terms up here, and each term is color-coded, and then my definitions are in black, and then I put, like if an author was the one who developed the term, which this is psychology work. So we'll take here structuralism, and we can see that the definition is this, and then we can see the person who made structuralism was this guy, because I wrote it in orange. So, see how much of a difference that makes than just writing in black ink and just getting your words down. It's a lot of a difference, because you're making reference material that is not scribbled and not just crammed with whatever your professor is saying, but you're making methodical notes that are color-coded and that are very concise, and they make great reference material. So what I have learned that works best, and here's what I do to actually make these notes, is that when I go into class, I will sit in my usual seat. I'll try to get closer to the front so I can hear the professor better. I'll take my phone out and I'll get out the audio app, and I'll hit record, and I'll turn my phone so it faces the professor. And I give him a warning before I come into class, or when I started doing it, is saying, hey, can I record you? Can I also use my phone? And if you see my phone laying out, this is why it's laying out. It's because I'm recording you so I can make more concise notes. Out of the 3 professors I have, only one said no, and that's because she has a no phone policy. The other professors did not care. They were like, that sounds like a great idea. So check in with your professor before you do this, but what you're going to have is you're going to be receiving that material in class once, so pay attention in class, listen to every word he or she is saying, and take in that information, and try to, that's kind of like your introduction. Then when you get home, play it over, and as you're playing it over, you have the ability to pause, skip, and play again. So what I'll do is I will go through and I will write out the most important information, each piece by piece. So another good idea that I just recently started doing when I'm in class and I'm focusing on what he or she is saying instead of trying to cram my notes in, I will take and I will get my pen and I'll have a little piece of like notepad paper, and every time they say something really important, I can see my recorder in front of me. I'll look at the time that the person said it, the professor said it, and I'll write it down and I'll make a list so I make sure that I don't miss any important parts. And this is a great way that you can make sure that you're getting all your information, that you're not missing anything. And that's very important, that you don't want to be missing a major term that you need to know in a class. So overall, I have saw an increase from just my psychology grade, which is the book I just showed you, from an 82% to a 95%. And I thought that I would never be in the 90s in my grade book because I do have a few learning disabilities that prevent me from being always able to comprehend so fast. But with this new method, things are slowed down. I'm able to take things at my own pace, and overall it has absolutely changed the way that I write. It has changed the way that I study, and it has changed my grades. So if you are looking for a solution to become a better student, to take better notes, and to do better in exams and increase your grades, note-taking is your foundation. And if you don't have that foundation, you need to get that foundation, and I'd highly recommend checking out Studyblr. If you want to check it out, I'm going to drop 2 links below, one for Tumblr and one for Instagram. If there's some other platform you use that supports hashtags, just type in hashtag study, BLR, Studyblr. It originated from Tumblr, so that's where you're getting the BLR from. So it's a really neat community that has kind of formed over, the past couple of months. But definitely check it out, and I hope this helps somebody because it sure helped me. Discovering this community has absolutely changed the way that I retain information. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you all have a great weekend.